April 6, 2023. Good day all. This is a message from Sierra Victor. We continue with our current program based on a book named Spy Secrets That Can Save Your Life by Jason Hansen as a baseline. The information, techniques, and skills is applicable and adapted to the high crime environment in South Africa. Chapter 2. Situational Awareness, Pre-Incident Indicators. In addition to practicing good situational awareness, it is critical you remember the one simple concept that can keep you from being injured or worse. In the event you are faced with a life and death situation of any kind, you need to move. I'll be referring to this frequently throughout the book, when I say, get off the X. You'll see in the stories I tell that people who move live. It's freezing and staying put that will get you injured or even killed. If someone is headed directly at you with a knife, getting off the X and moving will prevent you from being stabbed. It's essential that you remember that movement saves lives. Many victims will tell you they had no idea they were about to be attacked. The truth is, there are clear-cut signs most criminals exhibit before attacking someone. Pre-incident indicator 1, staring. Criminals will stare at you for an uncomfortable period of time if they've targeted you for an attack. If you notice a person staring at you for an unnaturally long period of time, cross the street, ask for help, or do whatever it takes to get out of their way. The reason they stare at you is because they've locked eyes on their target, and that target is you. The criminal has made the decision to go after you, and when a predator finds his prey he keeps his eyes on it. Pre-incident indicator 2, pacing. Only people with ill intent will match your pacing. It is not natural for humans to want to walk in step with strangers, so be aware when someone is matching your pace. This is also true in vehicles. If you and another vehicle are driving side by side on the highway, one car will speed up or slow down. You will notice that if you vary your speed, the criminal will walk slower or faster to match your stride. This indicates that you need to get away from this person and to safety as quickly as possible. Pre-incident indicator 3, distraction. Criminals will often work in pairs or groups, with one person distracting the victim with a question, plea for help, or even an offer of help if you appear lost or are obviously a stranger to an area. Once you are distracted, the other criminal will have a perfect opening to steal your purse, wallet, or phone, or worse. Beating normalcy bias, knowing that it can happen to you. Normalcy bias is how humans cope with unwanted change. It's a way of processing traumatic events or disasters. Humans are wired to fear change. When a big event is about to take place or is taking place, such as a terrorist attack, civil unrest, etc., it's natural for us to try to normalize the situation to the best of our ability. While normalcy bias is a protective mechanism, it's something we must learn to combat and be aware of to stay safe. It's normalcy bias that allows us to think that we're going to be okay, or an approaching storm isn't going to be that bad. This is how normalcy bias puts us in danger. If we aren't aware of the impact a particular event may have, we're not able to adequately prepare for it. Left unchecked, normalcy bias can lead us into dangerous behaviors, such as the following. Not taking a disaster seriously. If you don't recognize how deadly a storm or potential terrorist attack can be, you will not be prepared when such an event occurs. You may do something that puts you at further risk. Not preparing for a disaster. We've all seen how crowded malls gets the night before a big anticipated natural storm, strike, riot, or shutdown. People are out buying food, fueling up their vehicles, or whatever is needed. In certain parts of the country, people routinely experience disasters or unrest. Yet, not all of these people will prepare properly by planning escape routes and having supplies and food on hand. Normalcy bias keeps people from planning appropriately. They may think, the fire will never reach this far, so I don't need to prepare. Or I'll be rescued if there's ever a real problem. Believing that because something hasn't happened before, it never will, it's hard to know how to react when dealing with a new experience. People who are hindered by normalcy bias tend to stay positive and not acknowledge that just because something hasn't happened before, doesn't mean it can't. While we're not suggesting you spend all of your time worrying about every situation that could possibly happen, it is important to not let normalcy bias get in the way of your being a prepared individual. Normalcy bias isn't just about being prepared for a storm or other disaster. It's really a state of mind that you have to learn to manage in order to practice good situational awareness. Thank you for listening or reading this message. We will continue in our next message on Spy Secrets, with Chapter 2. Situational Awareness, Establishing a Baseline. Please feel free to use and distribute as needed. Our messages are not by any means enticing you to a revolution of sorts, but rather to equip you with the necessary theoretical background in order to assist local armed forces or police in stabilizing a SHTF situation. Please contact any admin on any Sierra Victor group for our previous material or search for our channel on YouTube. We wish you well. Sierra Victor.